Hey guys, it's Bridget with Sandy Seed Company, and I'm here on the farm to show you that it's not always perfectly beautiful and, it doesn't always look like the Instagram photos. Things happen, pests happen, and in particular this year, we've had a really hard time with cucumber beetle. We've been here for 4 going on 5 seasons now, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And they, in particular this year, have just really gone through and almost decimated these tomatillos. We've actually had to spray several times to try to save these. And the reason why I want to show you this is a couple different things. One, I want to show you that no garden is perfect, and no matter what you do, things are going to come for your crops, okay? Those insects, those pests are looking out for themselves, number one. They don't care about you and your tomatillo seed harvest, okay? They care about eating for survival. So it will come for you. How do you manage it, and what are some of kind of the thought processes you might want to think about when you are doing it organically and thinking about it from a holistic standpoint? So we are on a certified organic farm. All of our farm land and garden land that we have is certified organic. We try to take it a step further where we really use little to nothing if possible, because products cost money. It's time that we have to spend to spray them, and oftentimes there's some underlying factor that has made that crop more susceptible to whatever pest issue that it may be having. So this whole row, it looks pretty good now, but we actually planted these a little too late. Then the irrigation broke, and we didn't fix it in time. So they really struggled in their first 3 to 4 weeks of life. They really wilted, came back, wilted, came back. Now we saved them, which was great, but now they are having a hard time fighting off the cucumber beetle. Adding on top of that, that pest has gotten worse year after year because we have not had very good management techniques. Now we use integrated pest management on this farm, and basically it's levels that we use to think about what is the pest, what kind of damage is it doing, and what is the most holistic way in which we can manage that pest. And over the years, our weeds have gotten out of control, which has actually just been a perfect habitat to let these guys overwinter. Here in zone 9 and 10, we don't have snow, at least where we're at. We don't have hard frost, so these insects can overwinter in, for example, this fabulous looking weed here, which is called bindweed, the worst thing in the whole entire world. And basically their population can skyrocket. Adding on top of all of those things, we had the issue and we didn't immediately take care of it. And so the population grew and grew and grew. You can tell it's cucumber beetle from this damage that you see here. And it may be similar to what you might see for, say, a leaf-eating caterpillar. But what makes it great to identify cucumber beetle is you can actually just see them. You can actually catch them in action. They're a big 3-lined beetle, and it's a little bit later in the day. They tend to be more active early in the morning, so I may not be able to catch one right now, but if you come out almost at sunrise, invariably you'll see one. Oh wait, was that one? No, that wasn't one. But it's going to look like the munching of a leaf-eating caterpillar, with the exception of you're going to see a lot more dying back like this. The reason why they're so damaging is because not only do they eat a lot of the crop, but they move about a lot of pathogens. So you can actually have other issues compile on top of the fact that they're just eating away at the plant. I'm showcasing this because I want to talk about at what point do you decide to spray and what's the thought process in spraying. This is something I'm really passionate about because I've been lucky enough to spend time working at a nursery where that's all I did was help people identify insects and decide what kind of insecticide or pesticide they could use if they wanted to. And it always comes back to figuring out whether or not the plant is savable, and the chemical or the organic or otherwise that you're going to use on the plant is actually going to give you a crop that's worth using. And so at this particular stage, we are going to have to make some hard decisions. We can either continue to spray, and we will eke out tiny little tomatillos that are damaged and not great looking and barely get a crop out of it. Or we can decide to pull it and be done and not let this infestation get so big that then it moves to some of our more valuable crops, which are squashes that we have and tons of other crops that cucumber beetle could really damage. We are right now in the monitoring stage, and in the next couple weeks we'll make that decision depending on how the population of that particular insect booms, basically. Okay, if this crop was a little bit smaller in size, there's other ways in which we could manage the cucumber beetle. We can actually use row cover, which we use in the fall for leaf-eating caterpillars. We're physically just keeping that cucumber beetle off the plant. We could also use sticky traps. One of the reasons why we're not doing it is it just is a cost, and at this late in the season I don't think we're gonna be able to use sticky traps effectively to manage this. The other thing that we're going to play around with, and that we were lucky enough to see at the High Mowing Farm up in Vermont, is using surround, which is a type of clay that actually can deflect the cucumber beetles from landing on the crop. Now, it's kind of too late. It's like getting a cold and then taking vitamin C. Well, you already got the cold. Is the vitamin C going to help? Yes, but it's not really going to effectively manage the insect right now. So how does this apply to you in the backyard setting? So if you're in your garden and you're looking at your one precious tomato plant that has been just covered in powdery mildew, for example, or totally devoured by hornworms, and you only have a couple of like tiny little sticks for stems poking out, you have to ask yourself, is it worth the control method to get the end product? Are you still going to get a good crop out of it, or is it a better idea to rip it out and start again? Sometimes the most painful things that we do in gardening and farming is it's a necessary evil, kind of like thinning your carrots. Nobody likes to do that, but you have to do it. Sometimes a pest or an insect can get so bad that ripping it out and starting it again, and then looking at all the preventative measures that you could do for next year, is a better choice than treating this year's problem. Okay, so if you clicked on this video because you specifically want to know how to manage cucumber beetle in your garden or on your farm, there's several things you can do. Mulching makes a big difference. It helps to contain the population. Using row cover can be very helpful. Making sure that you plant in the right season so your plants are big, healthy, and can kind of battle them off. Also, there's some more experimental stuff that people are using, like surround, which is a type of clay that can be used. Lastly, sticky traps, if placed during the right time of the year, can actually reduce the population of cucumber beetles significantly and still leave you with a good crop.